Hey, it's Lona Reshel Taylor over here in Support's Thimbles shop, and I just had some stuff on my mind I wanted to talk about. I started thinking about the things I got to do today, and when you're constructing garments, you as the consumer, you see the end product, you see the nice decorative embroidery, you see the top stitching, you see the color and the texture of the fabric and what type of fabric it is and everything, and how I made it or how the seamstress made it. But you don't see the inner workings of it and how it got to be that garment. How it got to be that beautiful garment with the embroidery on it and the nice top stitching and the dye even in the fabric that was, made before I ever got it in the mail to make it into your garment. The one thing that I don't like to do in my business is cutting out the patterns and ironing. Okay. The one thing I don't like the most is the cutting out stage. Now, the cutting out stage of garment is probably the most important part of the construction stages, because if you don't cut it out quite right and you don't pin it down on the pattern just right and perfectly and cut it right precisely at the edge of the pattern, and you don't have enough pins in it, the fabric moves and everything, and it doesn't come out quite right. If you don't go through the ironing stages in between sewing and constructing it, you have to iron it, and then you go back and top stitch it, then you go back over here and you iron it, and then you have to go, there's, from the sewing machine to the ironing board, a lot in between, getting it from the cutting stage to the end product. So my whole point is that sometimes there's things that we have to do that we don't like to do in order to get to the place where we need to be. And so if you're at one of those places in your life where you just don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, and you're just tired or whatever, it's just like pump yourself up and think about, what is the purpose of what you're doing right now? What is the reason why you're doing this? Take yourself back. Like, I've been doing this business for about 15 years now, and I sell a particular product called zeep seeps. And what they are is, you probably see Jewish people wearing these tassels on their clothing. Well, the purpose of those is so that the person looks at the blue cord and they remember the commandments of God. Well, after 15 years of making zeet seats, you kind of get burned out and you kind of like, I don't want to do this anymore, right? And, I'm just an honest human being. You're tired and worn out and just burned out. So I have to take myself back and think, why am I making these zeet seats? Well, because the person paid for them, because they need to have a remembrance to do God's commandments. They want to do what's righteous and they want to do what's right. So it just really pumps me up and thinks, I really have a purpose here. So if you're at that stage where you're doing something that you really hate to do, like I hate to pin the patterns on, I get stuck by pins, all the time, and it's just you know, also cleaning my shop in between projects is like something I really don't want to do. But you know what? When you clean out all the cobwebs and you clean out all the scraps and everything, and you have this nice clean place to work in, everything comes out a lot better in the future. So clean out all those cobwebs, clean out all those negative thoughts about, like, I don't want to do this. Think about the purpose of what you're doing, and you will have a totally different perspective on what your purpose is and what you're doing right now. With that, I want to say you're blessed and highly favored, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.